Nuoika lived in Reverie, where she owned a bakery shop called Reverie. She was beautiful, with long golden curly hair that went to her waist and bright blue eyes. The townsfolk swore that she looked straight out of a fairy tale. Nuoika always ensured that everything she baked, from the sweet to the savory, was made just right. She aspired to always make people smile and feel welcome in her bakery. Berard, however, disliked Nuoika. He said that she was too nice and fooled all the townspeople. He needed to get rid of her, but the only way to do that was to ensure they were alone. It had been raining that day, and he saw her walking in the rain and struggling to carry groceries. So he decided to swoop in and ask her if he could help her. "Nuoika, do you need some help?" he asked, walking up to her with an umbrella and offering to lend her a hand. She smiled, her voice soft and almost sickly sweet to his ears. "Thank you, Berard. That would be nice." He took one of her bags and held the umbrella over them, escorting her to the doors of Reverie. Nuoika fumbled with her keys and opened the door, leaving it open, and Berard followed her inside, shutting the door behind them. Lamps dimly lit the bakery's entrance, and the faux flames danced against the walls, twisting the shadows around and shaping them into monstrous forms. To him, her shadow looked like a snake. She was deceiving and tricking everyone in town, slithering her way into their lives and hearts. "You don't have to stay, Berard. The rain is supposed to turn into a thunderstorm," she said, turning her back to him to put something away. He took this as his chance and reached for a knife hanging from a magnetic rack on the wall over the back counter. Slowly and quietly, he snuck up behind her, raising the knife above his right shoulder. Nuoika turned, flattening herself against the fridge, her blue eyes widened in fear, a blonde curl in the middle of her forehead. He brought the knife down, only for her to move out of the way. She ran through the double doors of the kitchen. Berard had plunged the knife into the freezer door instead. Deciding not to yank it out and wasting time, he went after her, planning to use his bare hands. "I know you're here," Berard growls, pacing around the kitchen, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. Nuoika refuses to respond and pulls her knees up to her chest. If she is quiet, then he will not be able to find her, right? She was wrong. The pantry cabinet door opened slowly, and Berard peered inside. A dark shadow cast across his face, and his smile was menacing, showing off his inhuman teeth. Nuoika screamed as she was yanked from underneath the sink. She staggered, and soon 2 hands found their way around her neck and began to squeeze. Berard glared into her eyes, calling her a snake and saying that she was a deceiver. She did not want it to end like this. Reaching to her side, a cast-iron skillet lay on the kitchen's island counter that Berard had her against, trying to choke the life out of her. With it in her grasp, she hit him once, then twice on the head. His grip on her loosened as his face contorted, now covered in blood, and began to stagger. Mustering her strength, she hit him a 3rd time, and he fell over. Nuoika shook as adrenaline coursed through her. She stood over Berard, hitting him twice before dropping the iron skillet to the tile floor. Wiping her hands onto her blue dress, she crossed the room to a drawer where she took out a bone saw and began dismembering Berard. She gathered the functional parts together and burned the rest in the furnace in her backyard. The next day was bright and sunny, and Reverie was open for business. The particular special of the day was gourmet bear meat pot pies, since the bear could not defeat the snake, who already had her grip on the people of Reverie and the town itself. 2 usual customers sat together, eating the day's special, and began conversing. "Have you seen Berard? They say he didn't show up for work." "Ah, he's probably hung over at home. You know it's close to that time again." "Oh, right. His wife and son disappeared around this time, didn't they? We should celebrate their lives with this delicious pot pie Nyoka made." He grinned like a fool, raising his glass to his companions. "To Berard and his family," they cheered. Nyoka also raised a glass with a smile on her face. "Yes, to Berard," she thought to herself, enjoying the rest of the bustling, busy day. A clear head with everything made just right, as always.